How to inspire his masculine energy and better your romantic relationship. In today's video, we're going to talk about the polarity of masculine and feminine energies and how they play within our romantic relationships, how important it is to have the polarity and the balance between a female and a male being in masculine or feminine energy so they can join together in a beautiful communion rather than headbutt each other all the time. And by listening to this video, you might find traits that you may possess, or you might find them within your partner. And after this video, hopefully you will be able to then narrow it down and understand yourself more and understand how you can harness more femininity, more feminine energy, if that's what you choose to be. And the reason I say this because you don't necessarily have to be a female to have traits of a feminine energy. There are relationships out there, and very successful relationship out there, who a man is the more feminine and the female is more masculine. But there is a polarity, and therefore they can come together in communion and create a good relationship, happy and fulfilling relationship. So what is feminine? Feminine energy is creation, it's flow, it's letting go, it's dance, play, it's being playful, is your intuition, it is being present, it's being in nature, it's being at flow and at ease with life. When it comes to masculine energy, masculine is pursuing, is taking action, is chasing, achieving, goal-orientated. And of course, as you can hear, women and female both possess those traits and both have those energies within them. However, in today's society and through the patriarchy and how we've been wired through the societal expectations and through the societal history, women have been now wired. We live in a world where women have been told that to be successful, they need to be masculine. They need to be more in the achiever, goal achiever, chaser role. And this was me for the majority of my life. So I understand and I see how much I have changed and what I've done to change it. But the first step to any change is awareness. And this is why I hope this video is going to be helpful for you. So why is being in your masculine energy is actually depleting your physical, spiritual, emotional, and mental self? Why being masculine as a female in today's world is actually diminishing your happiness? And that is simply because and again, disclaimer, there are some women out there who thrive in the masculine energy, and they thrive and they can create a beautiful relationship with a feminine man. A man who's more in touch with his feelings, he's more in flow, he is very spiritual, or he's very, very, not necessarily spiritual, but he's very in touch with himself. And therefore he's the beacon of feelings, emotions, understanding, flow, and then she can then thrive in her masculine. As long as there is polarity in a relationship, that can definitely work. But in today's video, I really wanted to talk to women who are toxic feminine energy, or they are in masculine energy, and those women who don't feel aligned. Like if you live in your life in fight or flight or freeze mode and you're constantly running around trying to please everyone, trying to deplete yourself, trying to get validation from everyone around you, if you are that woman who feels really unhappy and really depleted, and you think to yourself, that's not how I imagined my life, there are good chances that you are in your masculine energy quite a lot. And if you find that your sexual life with your partner is not satisfying, or if you find that you argue with him quite a lot, or if you see that there's distortion in your romantic relationship, most likely you could have been wired and taught that you need to be masculine, that you need to protect yourself, that you need to be the masculine, or the masculine energy in the relationship. And from my story, I saw this playing out in my family house, in my family home, where my mom was always she was always pursuing, she was always doing things. She was very much almost like a wounded feminine, because she would do things and then she would grow resentful. She would constantly do for my dad and she would never really receive him doing for her. So from that, when I experienced that, and then when I was observing that throughout my childhood, I thought that's how a female should be. She should do for a man. She should be this housewife that does everything. And I ended up doing that in my last relationship. And I truly believe that that was the reason that that relationship didn't last. Not because there was anyone was at fault. It was the dynamic was just off for a very long time, and I felt really depleted. I would be this angry rat in the corner for a very, very long time. I was aggressive. I was emotionally overwhelmed, and I was just very unfulfilled in that relationship because I was so in my masculine. And it's important to point that and say that I truly believe, and this is my belief, but this is what I can see throughout my learning about relationships and dynamics. I know that we as female are very, very powerful. And what I mean by that, we are as powerful as it is us and it's a female that sets the stage for the dynamic of a relationship. Men are usually very easily led by their women. They will go for the easier route because that's what men in general are. They choose the easiest way. They're very logical. So if a female is masculine and she's trying to be masculine because that's how she gets her validation and that's how she is going about her life in general, she doesn't allow for her man to do for her, then he won't be doing for her. He will just choose the easier route, which is to be feminine. Essentially, he will remove himself from being masculine energy. In other words, he will find the easier way because he'll understand that if she's happy doing everything, if she thinks that no one can do anything as good as she can, if she is persisting on cleaning, cooking, doing everything around the house, taking care of kids, taking control and being a control freak, which again was me, he will just remove himself and he will just choose the easier route. And what happens then is a woman, because she's doing all this, she doesn't realize she's doing all this, and actually she grows resentful towards her man because he's slowly but surely just stepping away from having more and more responsibility, or he will just end up having less and less responsibility, just kind of cruising through life whilst she's doing all the work. And this is exactly where a masculine energy is, and this is exactly how this plays out. Obviously it can play out different for everyone, but that's just an example of how it can really be showing up in your relationship. So as you can hear, being in the masculine energy has a diminishing effect on your spiritual self because you're not in touch with yourself. So being feminine is being in touch with your intuition, is being tapped into yourself, is having time to be in the flow of life, having time and creating that time to take care of yourself, to be with yourself. If we are masculine, we don't really create that time. We are constantly being distracted. We are distracting ourselves from feelings and from emotions. We are very logical. We live our life at the logical level, and that is very diminishing to our spiritual life, to our mental life, because of course we are overwhelmed, we are overthinking, we are multitaskers. Generally speaking, women are multitaskers, and if you give her 10 tasks, she will try and fulfill them, especially when she's coming from the wounded place of, I need to perform, I need to be perfect, I need to show everyone that I can do all these things, and maybe someone will finally appreciate me. Your physical body, of course, your physical feminine body needs rest. Your body needs rejuvenation. Your body needs to be worshipped. Your body is not a masculine man body. It's not the same body as men have. Men are much more resilient. A male's bodies are much more resilient to the masculine energy. So like if the man is in the masculine energy and he's pursuing, he's chasing, this is very primal. Male body, and generally men are wired for these things. We are not wired for these things. We should be nurturing ourselves so that we can nurture those around us. We should be being at ease. We should be in the flow. And oftentimes, unfortunately, what's happening in our brain and our emotions and our feelings are very, very much connected to our physical body. And eventually these things are showing up in disease, in illnesses, in autoimmune disease, our body essentially attacking our own body because we are not in the flow of life, in the feminine flow of life. And of course, our emotional body, we feel very misunderstood, we feel very overwhelmed, we suppress a lot of emotions because if we are in the masculine energy, there's no time to be with yourself, there's no time to process those emotions. So of course, this is so, so important to our emotional body too. So what are the traits of you being in your masculine energy? First and foremost, controlling and mothering. So enforcing not enoughness in your man. So when we control, because if at any point in your childhood you have lost your control, or you didn't have a control because your parents were controlling you and they were taking your control away, you would be wired and you would learn that to feel safe in this world, you need to control the resources, the outside world, the external. Oftentimes we also control our body in a very masculine way. So the fat loss, all of the diets that we go through, all of these things, this is a sign of controlling. And how we bring that to the relationship is, for instance, you would try to organize all your life, all your children's life, all your husband's life. You would be controlling what he does. You'll be checking on him. You'll be very worried about, like, when he's coming home, what is he doing when he's not home? All of these things. You don't have a lot of trust. You are worried about him all the time. You don't trust him, and you try to control him. If you find yourself controlling your partner, please remember that the only human being that you are responsible for in this lifetime is you and maybe your children, if you have children. Otherwise, your husband is not your priority to control him, to take care of him. You're not his mother. And so another point is we mother our partners. So instead of so we then go and tell him, oh, you need to take these tablets, or you need to take those supplements, or you need to do this, you need to do this. This is mothering. And why mothering affects your relationship is because in the subconscious mind of a man, he then starts to see you as a mother. He doesn't see you as a sexual goddess that you are. He doesn't see you in this very sexual way anymore. He sees you as his mother. And the dynamic of the relationship can be very diminished because eventually the sexual desire can go. Eventually you find yourself just being settled with someone that you don't really have a desire for anymore, or he doesn't have a desire for you. And that is because you have been mothering him. So even if he doesn't understand it, and of course he would love to be mothered, men love to be mothered because they don't understand what effect it has on your long-term relationship, but they love being mothered because they've been mothered by their mothers. And obviously mothering is doing for them is, it's not even nurturing, it's literally mothering them, but you're making their life easier. But it's so important to understand that we as women are so much more aware. We are so much more open to learning about these things than men are. And if you are one of the women that are just like awakening and you're like, I want my life to be different, I really want to learn and I want to see how I can change the things that I'm not really happy with in my life, this is why you are here listening to this video. So I want to honor you from this place, and I want to thank you for doing it, but also taking responsibility and really seeing yourself in that place of, okay, have I contributed to this? Because most of the time, and a lot of the time, we do set that stage for the relationship and how it plays out, which is very powerful if we understand that. If we understand what power we hold, you can really change the dynamic of any relationship that you are in. So yeah, mothering. So what mothering and controlling does, it reinforces in your man a belief that he's not good enough. You are diminishing his worthiness by doing that. And not only this has an effect on your dynamic as a relationship, your partnership, your sex life, it also has an effect on his self-esteem. And as female, I believe what we should do for our man is to worship him as much as he should be worshipping us. Trying to change them and nagging them, it's another point. Next point is trying to change them and nagging them for doing things. Again, nagging is almost like mothering. Again, it's like telling them, if you do this, you're gonna be a good boy. That's the kind of message. It's not what we should be treating our men as. They're grown-ass men. They have been mothered before. We are not their mother. We're not here to be to be the mummy. We are here to be their partners. And so trying to change them, the way you want to understand this is you can never, ever, ever change anyone. Spoiler alert, you cannot change another human being. I'm a coach. I work with people. I help women mainly, but I do sometimes work with men as well. And what I had to understand is it's not my job, or it's not even possible for me to change anyone. We can influence people with the way we are, with the way we change, but we cannot change anyone. The only way that change happens if someone is consciously wanting to change. So change is impossible. Stop trying to change them. The way that you want to go about this is to be the best version of yourself. Start working on yourself. Be focused on yourself. Be obsessed with yourself, with your growth, with the way you look, with the way you dress, with taking care of your beautiful feminine body, your female body, and influence him. If you want him to be healthier, start being healthier yourself. If you want him to go to the gym, start going to the gym. If you want him to start some new business, maybe encourage him and be like really appreciative of what he does, and really kind of talk to him in a very nurturing way, but don't try to change him. You can never change anyone. It's a pointless exercise. The only way we can change someone is to influence them and let them do that for themselves. And yes, that falls under mothering. Another point in this video is that we forget to be playful. So another way that we know that we are too much in our masculine energy is we are never playful. We this rigid, restrained, really stressed out woman, and the trait of femininity is to be playful, to joke, to allow yourself to be childlike again. If you never do this, it is you diminishing the playfulness in your relationship and what you two can have, and how beautiful relationship you could be creating if you allowed yourself just to let go and just to stop judging yourself and being so rigid, and just remind yourself how great it felt to be a child and to be playful. So being playful brings this sexual energy as well. So your sex life will be better if you just allow yourself to be a little bit more playful and bring that femininity into your relationship. Another trait of being in your masculine energy is when you are being insecure about yourself. It is not sexy. It is not desired by anyone to be insecure. Insecurities are not necessarily, they don't bring fire into your relationship. What they do diminish your sex life, they diminish your intimacy, they diminish your romantic relationship. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with being insecure, because everyone has insecurities. It's just, don't point them out. Don't tell him about your insecurities. I mean, you should have a open conversation about your insecurities, and your husband, your man, your partner should be able to also voice his. But if you do this on a daily basis and you show him that you are insecure because you are jealous, or because, I don't know, he opened the door for another woman and you are going into rage because of that, or you diminishing yourself and you're talking about your body negatively in front of your man, let me tell you, you are taking a lot of sexual energy away, a lot of flow. You are being very masculine. You are bringing this toxic masculinity into your relationship. And if you are very insecure in who you are, if you are insecure in your self-esteem, join my course, come to my retreats. We are working with these things. But I want you to work with it, because your insecurity, it's only just the perception that you have about yourself. It's not true. You may be insecure about something, but start worshiping the things that you are proud of. Start being more confident. Start working with your self-love, with your self-care. Every time you put makeup on, or buy yourself something, or spend time in a hot bath, every time you do these things for yourself, you affirm to yourself that you are worthy, you are enough, and that you are worth of the love and the acceptance and all of these things. But you have to start this work for yourself. Don't look out for your partner, for your husband, for anyone externally to feed into that, because until you actually understand it within, that you are enough and that you are lovable and you are beautiful and you are this magnetic, beautiful goddess, no one will really buy into that at all, because this is the energy that we bring. Even if you don't talk about it, we can sense it in someone's energy that someone is insecure. So being insecure in your own self shows up in a masculine way in your relationship, because you are being very controlling, very you'll be checking his phone, you'll be checking when he is, who he's talking to, is he this, is he that. Like, don't waste your energy on that. Don't waste your energy on these things. Focus on you, and be the most powerful goddess that you can be, the most secure and the most confident goddess that you can be. And there are things that you can do to enhance your feeling secure and your confidence. So start doing these things. If they have a negative impact on your relationship, start changing it. We have the power to change anything and any dynamic in our life with just the right approach and the right awareness. And another point in how you know that you are in your masculine energy in your relationship is not expressing what you want and just expecting him to know. And I'm laughing because this was me for a majority of my life. Again, in my previous relationship, that's how I would be. I would be like, how does he not know what I want? Does he not have a crystal ball to read my mind? What the fuck? That would be me. That would be me. So I understand, and I understand where it comes from, and I know how hard it can be to express what you want. If you have never been told that you are enough and you are deserving of the best relationship, the best treatment, the best for a man to do for you, I understand that it can be so hard to actually voice what is it that you want. But this man that you have chosen to be with, and that this man that you have chosen to love, is the man that should really know exactly what you want. He needs to know your boundaries. He needs to know what is it that his woman needs to be fulfilled and happy. And by you voicing what you want, he will then start voicing what he wants, and hopefully you are ready to reciprocate and you are ready to listen to what he wants as well, and honor each other in that way. But yeah, just express. And again, the expression of our wants and needs is very much correlated to how worthy we feel of receiving. And receiving and being in that flow and being the manifester really is very much to do with our worthiness and our self-love. So again, going back to taking care of yourself, to loving yourself, to knowing that you are enough will help you with expressing of what it is that you want in your relationship, setting healthy boundaries that push you out of your comfort zone. You need to be voicing all of that to protect yourself and to create a thriving relationship with your partner. That next point is not appreciating your man for what he does for you. Men like to be appreciated for his actions. So this is so true. If you appreciate your man, if you tell him, I love when you take the bins out, or I love when you do this for me, I really liked when you did that, they will create a mental note in their brain and they will do it, because at the core of their being, men really do want to do well, and they do really want to do for their women. They want their women to be happy. And so if you can voice it, and this is what I mean, we female are there to set the stage for those relationships, because we have the power to almost teach your husband, partner, your romantic partner, to teach them what is the way that you want to be treated. We have to set that stage. And just quickly, because it comes to me now, don't ever think that you asking and saying these things is something that you have to do, or this is, oh my God, why do I have to tell him this again? Or no, like, do you want to have a happy relationship? Or do you want to be the rat in the corner, depleted, diminished, tired, annoyed and pissed off with your life? Or do you want to have a thriving, loving relationship with your partner? Whenever you want to step into your aggressive self, whenever you want to be like, why do I have to tell him? Please stop yourself in your tracks, take a few breaths, and remember that coming from the place of love and from that beautiful feminine wisdom, you will create relationships that are thriving, and they will start feeding into your growth as well and your thriving as a human being. So be the one that's going to lead the way. Why not be the one that's going to lead the way? There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being the more awakened and aware partner. In fact, you should be proud of that. You should be the one that's like, okay, I'm going to nurture my husband or my partner into the knowledge and into the awareness, and together we can come in this beautiful communion, even if before you were very much in masculine, even though he is used to it. There are ways that you can talk, you can communicate, and you can change these dynamics. So appreciate your man for what he does for you. Be the appreciative one to start with. If that wasn't the dynamic in your relationship by far, why not to start and just see how it is going to change your relationship for the better. Next point is not seeing them for who they are, and not through the lens of your often unrealistic expectations. So oftentimes we try to, one, change our partners, but two, we see them for the ideal or the fantasy of what we created in our head. We don't actually see the human being that's in front of us for the human being that they are, which is very diminishing and very unloving, because you living with a fantasy, it's not actually living with the human being that you have in your relationship with you. So really seeing your partner for who he is, for all his flaws, for all his good in him, for all the things that he's really good at, for the moments that when he's taking care of you, when he is changing your tire, when he is doing these things for you, really honor him and see him for that, but really realistically see him for that. Because in the end of the day, if you're choosing this person to live with, to be with, to go through life with, you better know who they are. And so it's important to see him and appreciate in him, because oftentimes we take our partners for granted. Because we have them. I don't believe you ever have anyone. You don't own anyone. And I believe in the rule of you should always be ready to walk away from a relationship. Always. Regardless of circumstances, regardless of the amount of children you have or the years that you've acquired together, you should always be ready to walk away from it. if one of you is betraying each other or mistreating each other and you are not happy, you should be able to make that decision to walk away. But to be with someone and really honoring that human being, that another human being, is to really see who they are and really love them for who they are. You have chosen this man to be with. Honor him. If he loves going and he's got hobbies and he likes doing something, maybe go and do it with him sometime. Maybe appreciate him for it. Even if you don't fancy joining him in that, be appreciative of who this person is at the core of their being, because you then honor this human being that you have in your life, that you happen to call your partner or your love of your life, or whatever you're calling them. Honor them. And of course, when you start doing these things, hopefully they will start seeing you for the human being that you are. Because let's be honest, like, you would want to be seen in the whole and full expression of who you are. Like, you want to be accepted, and everyone does want to be accepted as a human being for the flaws, for the good, for the bad, for everything, for our past, for the present, for all the versions that we have been in this lifetime. We want to be seen. We want to be loved for all of it. And that's not to say that we should just, thrive in being a bitch. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we all have flaws, and no one's perfect. And you want to be loved for all of you, don't you? So start seeing your man for all of that he is as well, and honor that. And yeah, that, I think that's important, and that's very, very feminine thing to do, to nurture and to see someone as a human being, not as just partner, husband, whatever the role of that person in your life is, but as a human being. Being too focused on him is another trait of masculine energy. Be obsessed with yourself. If you focus on you, he focuses on you. This is something that Margarita Nazarenko said, and it's profound, and it's so true. The more you focus on yourself, the more your man will be obsessed with you. If you focus on him, he will focus on him. So don't be too focused on that man. Let him do his life. Like, let him be there. Let him go and do the work and whatever he's doing. But the most important thing, you need to be obsessed with yourself first before you start giving. And this is what all this channel is about. Love yourself first. Always fill your cup first. And in the dynamic of the relationship, again, the more you focus on yourself, the more he focuses on you. But the more you focus on him, the more he focuses on him. So understand the dynamic of the relationship. Stop being masculine and step into your feminine self, where you nurture yourself, when you are obsessed with yourself, when you are working on your self-development, where you go to salsa classes, where you go and learn, or you go and spend time with your friends. Be obsessed with yourself, and you will see that that will draw him in, because he's the chaser. He's the masculine. He wants to chase you. You not chasing him. Don't chase him. It's about feminine and masculine. If you are feminine, you are being your own self. You are being the goddess that you are, and then he will come to you. The more you do that, the more you will find that your relationship will thrive. Next point to show that you are not in your masculine, you're not praising your man. If you praise him, he will do for you. Remind yourself why you have chosen him in the first place. So we oftentimes struggle to praise our men, and our men thrive by being praised. They want to be needed. They want to do for you. They want to feel appreciated. The more you do that, the more he will do for you. And so again, stepping out of the masculine and into the feminine, voice to him how much you love what he does for you, how much you love that he takes care of the family, how much you love him opening the door for you, how much you love him feeling protected by him, how much you love him being in your life, and appreciate him and praise him for that. And remind yourself, why have you chosen this man in the first place? What was the values? What were the values that this man was bringing into your life, and what was the values that you valued in him to begin with, yet somehow forgotten to see it now that you are settled with him? And last but not least, acting as if you don't need him. That's another trait of a masculine. And again, we as masculine women, and this was so me as well, we want to do everything on our own because we need to get validation for, if I do this, I'll get validated. If I'm the best at something, the best at my job, the best at, you fill in the blank, if I can perform amazingly, then I'm worth it. And let me tell you now, your worthiness is already there. It's an innate worthiness. You are enough. You don't need to prove anyone anything. You don't have to chase in a masculine way for the approval, for validation. And that really plays out in your relationship if you act like you don't need your man. I'm going to tell you now, like, I have been on my own and I have been in relationship and I can do both. And I was absolutely fine on my own. Not emotionally. I was lonely and I didn't feel fulfilled completely in that area of my life, but physically I was fine. I could do my own financial. In fact, I'm now in a relationship and I'm still pursuing my dreams. I'm still going with my retreats. I'm still doing me. And I didn't need him, but I did need him. So I didn't need the partner in the physical, but we women do need connection. Every human being needs connection. Don't deny that you don't need him. Your man wants to feel needed. If your tire is flat or if something happens, or you need your man to be there to make you feel safe, secure and protected. Because let me tell you now, when you are single, as a single woman, you are constantly in fight or flight or freeze mode, because we are primarily wired to be protected. And we can't do that protection for ourselves. Of course we can, and I have been doing that for myself, but your body, your physical body, energetical body, your emotional body is suffering because you are not meant to be taking care of the tribe. You are not meant to be go out and hunt. You're not meant to be there to protect the tribe. This is man's job, and it's man's land. And let your husband, your partner, your loved one know that you need him in the actions that you take, in the way you go about life. Improve his self-love, improve him by his worthiness, his ability to be and feel like a man, by praising him, by the gratitude for him, by appreciation and words of affirmation. Don't ever hold back the love from your man, and you will find that if you start doing these things and you start recognizing more and more the masculinity and how you are rigid, and how you, if you're going to start changing that and shifting it to more of a feminine flow, you will find that your man will thrive as a man, because the more masculine you are, the more feminine he is. And majority of men don't thrive in a feminine, they thrive in a masculine. The pursuit, the chase, doing for you, all of these things. So allow your man to be the man, and so that you can relax and you can be in the flow of life in your feminine, beautiful energy, thriving as a feminine energy, as a feminine woman in this life. So that's a wrap. We've got a few points here about how to know if you are in a masculine and what to do to step more into your feminine energy in your romantic relationship. Thank you so much for watching. If you are on Spotify, thank you for listening. I love you so much. Subscribe to this channel, share this channel with those women that you love, or follow on Spotify. I do appreciate you. I love you so much. And let's dive in further into the journey of awakening. I love you lots. Take care.